Yes, it is.
Good morning. Good morning, Dan. Dan Guterrez.
Good morning, Mr. Keller. How are you today?
It's the best day of my life so far, so I'm doing good. Thank you. You?
I'm doing fantastic.
I
I'm
like it
doing.
when you often say I'm participating well in my life.
Yeah, that's usually when I'm struggling,
Oh,
but
okay.
today I'm feeling fantastic.
Okay, cool. I'd like to welcome everybody who's joining us to the Intentional Living podcast with myself, Marty Keller, and my friend and colleague, Dan Guterres. And we have these podcasts to discuss the intentional living process that Dan and I have both been participating in for quite some time. And the theme of this podcast is something that Socrates said a couple of years ago, or a couple centuries, a couple of millennia ago. He said, "The secret of change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new." And
Absolutely.
that's something that we learn here in the intentional living process is to befriend the old and make it an ally of building the new instead of fighting it. And so we explore many different topics here, all revolving around this practice that our friend and colleague and mentor John Donovan taught us. And we have other podcasts with John available on the Intentional Living YouTube channel as well, and invite you to check those out. But today we want to talk about the value of being present in the body because the intentional living practice we call the accountability tree starts with how am I feeling? So why is that so important and powerful, do you think, Dan?
Well, for me, is that when the goal is okay, my goal is to be in my emotional body um, as as often as I can or as I consciously can be. Um, because a lot of the things that we're dealing with, the trauma, the triggering, dysfunctional family of origin, unresolved childhood trauma, all of that creates separation from your emotional body, and that's where the source of my wisdom, um, to answer the question, what is it I want that I don't have, stems from me be able to be in my emotional body, not dissociated from it, not to dismiss it, not to suppress it, but to be in it, to feel safe in it. Um, that's one of the things that I'm working on. Is I stopped using the word feelings because I believe it confuses people.
Can you
Um,
elaborate on that?
Um, yeah, because nobody has a clear understanding of what feelings are. There's feelings, there's emotions, body sensations. So in my the groups that I run for my nonprofit, I've changed that to what am I experiencing in my body? That has a different when you say it like that, that's the experience. That's what we're looking for is the experience of what are you experiencing?
Yeah. I even
Uh,
in our culture, we even will use the word I feel when we meet I think.
yes.
So yeah,
And
so it gets diluted and so once something loses meaning, it has no value, I don't think for recovery purposes anyway.
right. It's a simpler people who have experienced trauma, when you say how are you feeling, I think there's a subconscious thing, a subconscious program that blocks that. You don't want to go to you don't want to go to that experience, having call it emotions, feelings, sensations. Um,
Yeah,
so,
because if we have unhealed trauma, then all feelings are a threat to reopen the unhealed trauma, and who wants that?
well, that becomes the question.
Yeah.
Um, at least it's a question. it's a conscious acknowledgement, a conscious moment where I can make a choice. What I learned as a child was my emotional body was not safe to be in because something happened, and I had this emotional experience, and it was labeled bad or even happiness, joy. I was conditioned to see joy as a bad thing because joy meant I was out of control. And if I was out of control, that reflected badly on my mother. So my mother reinforced that being alive and experiencing the world with joy and exuberance was a bad thing. So that
Yep.
got suppressed.
Yep.
So I find myself in my addiction. I can look back at it now. I got high when I was feeling good. I got high when I was feeling bad. Uh, I got high when I was going to sleep. I got high when I woke up. And, I could look back at it going, gee, you never wanted to be in your emotional body at all.
So you're
And
referring, when you say you got high, you're referring to drug use.
drug use
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
any
Okay.
addiction, right?
Fair enough.
And so, I could look back and it's like, what was going on? Well, I didn't want to be in the present moment. I didn't want to have the experience that I was having in that moment. I wanted to, I wanted to something different. I didn't want to be present to what I was experiencing, so I got high, and that took me out of it. And I realized, I don't know what this is going to sound like, but I'm going to say it anyway. I realized that my addiction kept me alive long enough, fortunately, long enough to learn different skills to stop using and start recovering from that. So today, uh, slowly fast forward in today, um, I don't know how many times I've heard it, your emotional body, all this. And so recently I've had a stressful last 6 months with different conditions in my life. And my emotional body and my feeling body, um, I started to develop headaches. I started developing just, I don't know if it was a headache, but it was just felt like the Three Stooges, the put my head in a vice and were just squeezing on it.
Ouch.
And so I started taking, medication, and none of it worked, right? So oh God, I've got a brain tumor here. So I go to the doctor and they scan my head and X-ray it and take blood and everything else, and they tell me, there's nothing medically wrong. We can't see anything medically wrong. So the possibility exists that you're under stress. You've got a lot of stress in your life. And my first thing is denial.
Right. For
Well,
sure.
right? No, no way.
It's just life.
Yeah, you know who you're talking to here, right? Right? I've got this stuff under control. And I'm a stress junkie by the way. I deal with stress very well. And so time goes on, and then I realize, okay, what's the story you've been telling yourself? That I can deal with stress, no problem. I've got it. I'm the A1 stress guy. Look at your life. You've dealt with stress all your life. Okay. Good. And then I just told myself, would I be willing to consider that the story is not true? You don't know how to, okay. So, and as soon as I said that, I had a reaction.
Mm.
I had an experience. And it's like it's the same experience I've had 100 times, thousands of times now. It's like I said the truth. I've said the truth, and then my body responded to it. It's kind of just like, finally, I don't have to fight this anymore. You don't handle stress well. And Take a deep breath. What do you want? Um, I intend to live my life with grace, joy, and ease. All right. 2 days later, my headaches went away. Um, and so, this is playing out in my head, and it's like, what happened? And your body was telling you the signal that you got was this pressure on your head. It was calling attention to the stress, the unpredictable circumstances, your metabolically um, high demand. Your mind is predicting that this is going to whatever you're under. You're convinced that this is going to require a huge amount of energy outlay, and this is what you're experiencing. Okay, take a deep breath and where are you at right now? When I say that, I ask myself, what am I experiencing right now? Which puts me in my emotional body, which puts me in the present moment, not the past and not the future.
And when you say experience, and you mean, what are the physiological sensations that your body is producing?
Right. Not only that, I want to quantify that. Thank you for
Okay.
asking. When I say experience, I'm talking about the thoughts in your head and what's happening in conjunction with those thoughts in your body, the total experience you're having, thoughts included in one package. That's the experience I'm talking about.
Okay.
So we got to you can correlate the feelings with the thinking. In other words, if you have the experience, the total organism, oh, I can't even say it. Full body. I can't. It's just, how do you say head and body in one word?
Yeah, we talked about this in another podcast. We need a word for the unity of body and mind. We don't have it. English doesn't have it. So we struggle here, don't we?
Well, it's because I don't want to separate the two. And it's like, how can you?
Exactly.
So the full experience of your entire organism, that together includes your thinking, your body sensations, all of that needs to. Okay, I am starting to. I'm not just relying on my body, right? The body sensations. I'm including the thinking. So I understand that my thinking influences my mind creates the experience, my body sensations that I'm having. So okay.
Yeah.
So
Because the brain is part of the body, turns
yes.
out.
And so I can correlate the two between me stating the truth about what what I've been in denial of. I'm under stress and I don't know what to do, which frees me up to do things that I would have never thought because I am now giving myself permission to think outside of the little box that I was in.
Right.
Okay. So it's not medical. I was almost disappointed when they told me there was nothing wrong. And I'm going, oh my God. So now I got to deal with the possibility that it's stress. Oh shit. Now what do I do? But weaving things back here is that being in your emotional body gives you access to your tools. When you get triggered, when you have an experience where you start to dissociate, that is not intended. No blame, no judgment. That is your subconscious trying to get you out of your emotional body so you can be safe. Okay. That that process started when you were a child, when you did not have access to any other tools, support, or life experience. If
Or information.
or yes, all of that. So
Right.
that's a what do they call it? A legacy. A legacy. Is that the right word? Um, yeah, legacy. This is something that's been there since childhood. Okay. Now we're in the we're as an adult where we have all these other tools that we can implore on a conscious level because we're developmentally different than we were as children, and the subconscious doesn't have those new tools in it yet. It doesn't. To get them in there, we have to exercise them, we have to practice them till they become a habit. But if I get activated and get under high loads of stress at 7 or 8, the rational mind loses its ability to influence um, the high activation, right? I don't want to say fight or flight. I just want to say high levels of adrenaline. I cannot employ my tools because I'm in survival mode and I don't need to know anything new. I go with what I've known. Dissociate out. Um,
Yeah, and it's like an automatic pilot, so you don't need to think.
no, you know what to do, no matter the consequences,
The body
right?
knows.
So we do our thing, and then we wonder why we keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, because the opportunity to quote unquote download and use the tools, having that experience is not possible when I'm in adrenaline. So how do I how do I get myself in that state of mind where I don't dissociate? Okay, so I'm going to stop there. So how do I get myself into the state of mind where I stay present in my emotional body? This is the process that I'm describing is what I went through.
Sure.
Um, okay, what does he want that you don't have? Okay, I want to be present in my emotional body. Okay, that's okay. How do I want to be present in my emotional body? I want to feel safe. Um, I want to feel I want to feel safe. How about that? Safe, calm, and um, yeah, safe and calm. All right. So create the intention. I intend to feel safe in my emotional body and remain calm. Okay. So as things have progressed here, now my subconscious, my conditioning, my the ability to focus on my intentions has given me access to awareness. The reticular activating system's coming online and it's going, okay, this is what it means to be alive, Dan, which means to be in your emotional body. And it's like, okay, so it's starting to happen. I had a wonderful class yesterday, and I came out of that class just excited and man, this is wonderful. This is what I want. And and I was happy and joyous and excited. And then all of a sudden I felt the old programming coming on. Being excited is bad. You're out of control. And I'm going, oh, holy shit, there it is. I'm in my emotional body right now. And the old programming is coming on to squash it. You hear the voice. Who do you think you are being excited? You're an adult. You should be able to remain calm. And it's like, whoa, whoa, there it is. There it is. There's the information I've been looking for. There's the moment where I can go own it right now. The truth is, I'm trying to squash my emotional body experience. No blame, no judgment. What do I want? I want to be in my emotional body without or with exuberance, safety, and willingness. All right, so let's just stay there. And this is happening in front of an elevator at the downtown jail. And it's like, okay, and I get on the elevator and I'm just staying in it. I'm not, and I get asked, what floor do you want to go? And I say something, and then I get there and I get off and I walk out and the door closes and I go, I'm on the wrong floor. And I'm going, good, because I stayed in my emotional body. I focused in on what was happening. This is what I want. Nothing's wrong. Just turn around and go to the floor you want. And I go, this is what's being it. This is what means by being in your emotional body. I'm focused on that. So fast forward again. So I'm having a conversation, and I just notice the conversation going, and then I find myself saying things that come out of there. I'm in the moment, blah blah blah, and the words just come out of my mouth, and I go, okay, you're in your emotional body right now. You're on autopilot. You're not being activated here. This is you. This is your all your hard work coming through. You're speaking from your subconscious, just like riding a bike. All you do when you ride a bike is look where you want to go, and the rest of it takes place. You're not activated. You're not under duress. You're not happy either. You're just present. The absence of all this, it's contentment, ease, safety.
Safety, yes.
And it's like, holy cow. All right, good stuff. Um, Own it. I feel safe in my emotional body, and I intend to increase my capacity to feel safe in my emotional body. Boom. And I'm off, and gonna see what happens. But I'm also noticing that when I don't dissociate out, I can bring my intentionality. I can bring the accountability practice. It's starting to come online now automatically because my emotional body, I'm feeling safe in my emotional body. I can apply the tools. I'm not frantic. I'm not impulsive anymore. I'm literally, I have a different relationship. My body's is my 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 emotional and sense and feeling body feels safe for me to be in it. And I'm just thinking, my entire life has been spent, my entire conscious life that I've been aware of, I've always tried to not be in my body. And being diagnosed with ADHD comes from family of origin dysfunction, and it's just like, okay, I know where, that doesn't matter. Where are you at today? That's what the accountability practice does. You don't need to know the root cause. In our program, all we need to do is focus on the solution. And the wisdom and the answers that you have in your mind come from having the experience of having it. And being safe in my emotional body has given me the opportunity to have this wisdom, to be able to be calm and not be triggered so I can see what's actually happening in real time and make better decisions about where I want to be in the future.
In a recent meeting, we were discussing the fact that the human body is programmed to heal. So if I cut my finger, the body automatically rushes red blood or white blood cells to try to heal over the wound, et cetera, et cetera. And so it's going back to your original insight, the body and mind are one unit, the body mind. What that means is that even with the childhood trauma that we may have suffered, we are oriented toward healing. And yet we have such power that we can prevent or delay that healing through addictive behaviors, or dissociation, as you were saying. And what the intentional living process is a conscious marshaling of the body's healing powers toward those things that we now want to bring healing to. So what you just said, the stories that you just shared about your recent experiences are just a perfect example of that. You you saw the wound, particularly what you were talking about when you um, got out of the class and you had that aha moment as you felt an old program trying to repress exuberance, and you were able to marshal through conscious intention the power of transcending that, not squashing the squashing, as it were, but just allowing that to become the gateway to something better, something that you now actively want. And then when you said that, you said you had that sense of relief. And what jumped in my mind when you were describing that is that the body and mind came into alignment, that your body and your mind were not only not fighting each other, they were united in the truth of the actual experience that you were choosing to have in the moment.
Okay. Um, just as a the body and mind are always connected, like you said. Um, one, you can't go anywhere without the unit. It's one. Um, it's my ability. It's the conditioning. We both of us have been at this quite a while. And had somebody asked me, you know, what do you think the results are going to be? Why are you doing this? If I had to tell somebody why would anybody want to go down this road? 20 years ago, this year, this is where I got exposed to this. Um, 10 years ago, well, longer than that, 13, 14 years, 13 years ago, this is where I really started applying this stuff. And nowhere in any of that span of time would I have ever predicted that the outcome would have been this. I didn't have the awareness that this was, people have told me all this stuff, all recovery, and it's like, okay. Um, yeah, it's for me, the journey has been to be able, this is the next level, or this is, to me, it's the foundation. Everything, for me, everything starts being to be able to be safe in my emotional body.
Well, that brings us right to the theme of our podcast, is that allows me to stop fighting the old and to rally all of my inner powers to building the new. And here's the irony: when we want to build something new, oftentimes we don't know what that is ahead of time. That's what I'm hearing you say. And
Right.
so there's risk and reward. And so inevitably there's going to be doubt or fear as I build something new. But now I have these tools to go through that in a way that I'd say I choose to go through it. So I
Right.
have created right now, my life purpose statement is I intend to build a world of joy, peace, freedom, community, and health. And so those are the experiences, my reticular activating system, that part of the brain that marshals where conscious focus is going to be. that my reticular activating system is always on the lookout for joy, peace, freedom, community, and health. Whereas the pre-program of my wounded little child, he was always on the lookout for anxiety, drama, hypervigilance, fear, self-condemnation. And so those were the experiences that all of my daily activities were filtered through. So this is what the power of the intentional living process has been for me, is to create through it, why we call it intentional. It's like I choose, I ask myself what I want, which I heard you share, and that desire becomes the basis for the intention. And then our bodies are designed, the brain, the reticular activating system, these are all physical elements of a physical body that we inhabit. The adrenal gland and all the parts of us that secrete hormones that generate emotion, these are all going to marshal their um, powers toward what we intend to experience. One of our John and I talked about this in a previous podcast. One of our foundational principles is I'm always getting what I want. And so if I'm getting what my conscious mind as an adult says I don't want, then that means there's something my wounded little child's wanting and manifesting through that power of intention. In this case, it's subconscious. It's a subconscious intention. And what I learned from John, and the reason I find this practice to be so powerful, is it's about liberating that information from my subconscious, bringing it into my conscious awareness, and then choosing, is this what I want? And if it's not what I want, what do I want?
Right.
And therefore, as Socrates says, I'm focusing all my energy on not fighting the old, but building the new.
Correct.
And my body is going to support me in doing that.
Uh, it's just amazing that we don't have the language for that. It's like my body has its own separate entity, conscious thinking or mind, and my brain has got another.
Yeah. Well, it's
And
because the brain is designed with the power of imagination, and imagination allows us to imagine something
right.
different from what we're actually experiencing. It's
Um, what do they
evolution,
what do they call it? An analogy, right? That's something that represents something else.
right?
Uh, and as human beings, we experience this and this as two separate
Exactly.
two separate things, and they're interconnected. And it's interesting. Before I go off on that tangent, the evolution of my recovery from stopping using to achieving that, to give myself clear mind so I can actually think and use the tools, apply the intellectual information, um, people, places, and things. Avoid this, do this, go to meetings, reconnect with human beings, feel safe around human beings. Um, the wisdom of the organism is that my body cannot heal unless it's in a state of calmness, which means no adrenaline, no cortisol,
Right. No stress.
no stress. The body can't heal itself. So I'm interpreting that there's been something going on all along that's been the guiding premise that's been behind it is to get to this state where I feel calm in my body so I can heal. I am now in alignment with higher power, whatever you want to call it, biology. I'm in alignment now mentally to allow myself to be safe so my body can do its job. The organism can do its job,
Right.
which is
Exactly.
heal, rejuvenate, restore, uh, and grow, and
And thrive.
and thrive. Yes, replace, put all that energy into creating new cells, repairing things that need to be repaired, and yeah,
Yeah, it's no accident that in the 12-step program, the foundational prayer is called the Serenity Prayer,
right,
because it's exactly what you just said. When I'm in a state of serenity, calmness, safety, then that the body's tendency to heal will be liberated and that work will get done.
yeah.
Well, we're coming to the end of our time together here, and this has been very valuable. And I thank you for your insights. Any last minute thoughts before we wrap up?
Um, yeah, another thing I've learned. Yeah, safety does not mean the absence of being triggered. Safety is the presence, is being present to the triggers and being safe.
Yeah. And if it's
Uh,
okay with you, I would add that and feeling confident that I will be safe, to have the confidence that I'm going to be able to manage this.
yes, that's been that's the journey.
Yeah. Well, my friends who have been watching with us, if this work that we do, that Dan and I have been talking about, the intentional living practice, is best done in group settings, and there are 4 intentional living groups that meet on a weekly basis, all of them on Zoom, all at different times and different days of the week. And the information as to when and how to join those meetings will be at the end of the podcast. So we invite you to come and join us and check this out for yourself and ask questions. If you're ready to create the kind of peace and safety that you've been looking for in your lives, you can jump in the deep end and or you can just watch and listen to other people doing this practice. But we invite you to come and learn about this through direct experience. We talk about it here, but we're talking about that which is directly experienced. So we invite you to come and directly experience this for yourself. So with that, thank you, Dan, for your time as always and your wisdom.
Thank you.
And I look forward to the next time.
I do as well. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.